news are big numbers and good news, but there is a bit of bad news.
We've seen a slight deterioration in investor perceptions, and that is in some ways matched by a decrease in projects year on year, so an 8.4% decline in projects. That's the bad news, as it were. At the same time, though, we've got a significant increase in capital invested into Africa, so the average value of each project has jumped up considerably.
Perception is a key driver in investment decisions, and investors need to see positive actions.
You don't have the confidence, people aren't going to put money into it. And so while there is great opportunity in many sectors that can really achieve some positive outcomes, there's some building blocks, corruption, increased terrorism that just need to be dealt with in order for increased FDI to start coming in greater amounts.
Intra-African investments are on the increase, and this is definitely a good sign.
Partly in the wake of the global economic crisis and opportunities elsewhere drying up, but partly also with this real African growth story, Africans themselves taking the continent seriously.
Most investors take a very open view of their criteria. Africa is not the only country that developed economies can invest in, or other emerging economies that can invest in. And so Africa, no different than any other country, has to compete for that capital.
People already doing business in Africa who understand the risks, understand the opportunities, remain overwhelmingly positive about Africa, rank it by far the #1 destination in the world in terms of investment attractiveness.
There is more unexplored potential, but it requires decisiveness.
Africa is no different than some of the other emerging economies who are also trying to attract FDI. And so their tone is one of optimism, and their tone is also one of a good plan, a good strategy to attract investment. And then whether you're talking about Modi in India, or Premier Li in China, or Peña in Mexico, they all have to demonstrate some level of success.
The African continent and its 54 countries all have to compete with other areas, regions and countries when it looks at attracting investment. And if they don't get the messages right and they don't display what they need to display, investors are going to go elsewhere. I'm Angelo Coppola for CCTV in Cape Town, South Africa.